Have you ever wished you could just not notice things? Like, not notice the awkward pause after your joke, not notice the tiny change in someone's tone, not replay a conversation from 3 days ago while you're trying to sleep. If that sounds familiar, you might be what I call too aware. And no, that's not an official diagnosis. It's just that feeling of constantly picking up on everything. Moods, shifts, body language, hidden meanings, like your brain refuses to switch off the radar. Let's talk about the psychology of people who are too aware. First, being highly aware usually means you're very observant. You read between the lines. When someone says, "I'm fine," you don't just hear the words. You analyze the speed, the tone, the eye contact, the pause before it. You're basically a human lie detector, except nobody asked you to be. This level of awareness often comes from experience. Sometimes it develops in childhood, especially in environments where you had to pay attention to subtle cues to feel safe or understood. You learned that noticing small changes mattered, so your brain adapted. The problem? It never clocked out. People who are too aware tend to overthink, not because they want to, but because their brain connects dots automatically. A delayed reply becomes a story. A slight frown becomes a possibility. A short message becomes a mystery novel with 12 possible endings. And at 2 a.m., your brain loves to re-release the greatest hits of embarrassing moments. You're just trying to sleep, and suddenly your mind goes, "Remember that thing you said in 2017? Let's analyze it again." It's exhausting. But here's the interesting part. Being too aware also makes you emotionally intelligent. You're empathetic. You notice when someone's energy is off before they say anything. You can sense tension in a room within seconds. You often understand people deeply. The downside is that you don't just observe emotions. You absorb them. If someone near you is stressed, you feel it. If someone is distant, you question it. If the vibe shifts slightly, your brain goes into detective mode. And sometimes you create problems that weren't even there. Not because you're dramatic, but because your awareness is turned all the way up. Another trait? You self-monitor constantly. You think about how you're coming across. Did that sound rude? Was that too much? Too quiet? Too intense? While others just exist freely, you're editing yourself in real time. It's like living with an internal narrator who never takes a break. Psychologically, this can be linked to anxiety, perfectionism, or high sensitivity. When your brain is wired to scan for details and potential threats, even social ones, you stay alert, always. But here's something important. Awareness isn't the enemy. Unmanaged awareness is, when directed well, it becomes insight. You become thoughtful, reflective, wise. You see patterns others miss. You make careful decisions. You're rarely blindsided because you're always paying attention. Highly aware people often struggle because they don't know how to turn it down. They think every thought deserves analysis, every feeling needs solving, every shift means something. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes someone is quiet because they're tired. Sometimes a text is short because they're busy. Sometimes the pause in conversation is just a pause. Learning to separate intuition from imagination is powerful. Just because you can notice everything doesn't mean you have to respond to everything. And here's a little humor again. You know you're too aware when you can sense tension in a room before you even enter it. You walk in and immediately think, something happened here. Meanwhile, everyone else is just asking what's for dinner. But let's be real. The world needs aware people. They're the ones who check in, who think before they speak, who care about impact, who sense when someone needs support. The goal isn't to become less aware, it's to become less overwhelmed by it. To remind yourself that not every silence is rejection, not every shift is personal, not every thought is truth. If you're someone who feels too aware, you're not broken. You're perceptive. You just need boundaries, not just with people, but with your own mind, because awareness is powerful. But peace comes when you realize you don't have to carry everything you notice. Sometimes it's okay to see it and let it go.